Swami iti namine Namaste Saraswati Devi Gauravani Pracharine Nirvisheshaya Shunyavadi Paschatya Satarine Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadara Srivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna. So let me continue Kirtan for 2 minutes. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, everyone. So let's get started. This is chapter 51, and we would be continuing with chapter 51. We are 2 paragraphs away from where we discontinued last time around. So those who want to read, please raise your hand. We will first read from this one, when Krishna entered the cave of the hill, and thereafter we will continue with where we left. Yeah, those who want to read may raise their hand, else I will start reading. Yeah. No one? Okay, I'm starting then. When Krishna entered the cave of the hill, Kala Yavana followed, chastising him with various harsh words. Krishna suddenly disappeared from the demon's sight, but Kala Yavana followed and also entered the cave. The first thing he saw was a man lying down asleep within the cave. Kala Yavana was eager. This too is a disturbance. Okay, Kala Yavana. The first thing he saw was a man lying down asleep within the cave. Kala Yavana was eager and also entered the cave. The first thing he saw was a man lying down asleep within the cave. Kala Yavana was eager to fight with Krishna, and when he could not see Krishna but instead saw only a man lying down, he thought Krishna was sleeping within this cave. Kala Yavana was very much puffed up and proud of his strength. He thought Krishna was avoiding fight. Therefore, he strongly kicked the sleeping man, thinking him to be Krishna. The sleeping man had been lying down for a long time. When awakened by the kicking of Kala Yavana, he immediately opened his eyes and began to look around in all directions. At last, he saw Kala Yavana standing nearby. The man... Not good. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. At last, he saw Kalayavna standing nearby. The man had been untimely awakened and was therefore very angry. And when he looked upon Kalayavna in his angry mood, rays of fire emanated from his eyes, and Kalayavna was burned to ashes within a moment. When Parikshit Maharaj heard this instance of Kalayavna being burnt into ashes, he inquired about the sleeping man from Sukdev Goswami. Who was he? Why was he sleeping there? How had he achieved so much power that instantly by glance Kalayavna was burned to ashes? How did he happen to be lying down in the cave of the hill? He put many questions before Sukdev Goswami, and Sukdev answered as follows. My dear king, this person was born in a very great family of King Ikshvaku, in which Lord Ramchandra was also born. And he happened to be the son of a great king known as Mandhata. He himself was also a great soul and was known popularly as Muchukunda. King Muchukunda was a strict follower of Vedic principle of Brahminical culture, and he was truthful to his promise. He was so powerful that even demigods like Indra used to ask him for help in fighting the demons. And as such, he often fought against the demons to protect the demigods. The commander-in-chief of the demigod, known as Kartikeya, was satisfied with the fighting of King Muchukunda, but once he asked that the king, having taken so much trouble in fighting demons, retire from fighting and take rest. Kartikeya addressed King Muchukunda, my dear king, you have been sacrificed. You have sacrificed everything for the sake of demigods. You had a very nice kingdom, undisturbed by any kind of enemy. But you left that kingdom, neglected your opulence and possessions, and never cared for fulfillment of your personal ambitions. Due to your long absence from your kingdom while fighting the demons on behalf of the demigod, your queen, your children, your relative, and your ministers have all passed away in the due course of time. Time and tide wait for no man. Now, even if you return to your home, you will not find no one living. You will find no one living there. The influence of time is very strong. Time is so powerful that it is the representation of Supreme Personality of God. Time is therefore stronger than the strongest. The influence of time can effect change in subtle ways without difficulty. No one can check the progress of time. As an animal tamer tames animals according to his will, time also adjusts things according to its own will. No one can supersede the arrangement made by Supreme Time. Hare Krishna. Anyone interested in reading may raise their hand. If they are not raising hand, I am not allowing anyone to read. Yeah, continuing from here. Thus, addressing Muchukunda, the demigod requested him to ask any benediction he might be pleased with, except the benediction of liberation. Liberation cannot be awarded to any living entity, but the Supreme Person by any living entity, but the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Krishna or Vishnu himself, Vishnu or Krishna himself. Therefore, another name of Lord Vishnu or Krishna, yeah. Have you seen this one, Lord Vishnu or Krishna? Can we write the other way around, Lord Krishna or Vishnu? The connotation, the idea of writing it other way around would be wrong. It is very, very important. Very small thing, isn't it? Lord Vishnu or Krishna. I'm saying Lord Krishna or Vishnu. Does it make any difference? Yes, it does make any difference. Can anyone guess it? What is the difference? Yeah? Yeah, so
Yes,
what is the
Prabhuji. Yeah, like if you say Krishna or Lord Vishnu, that would mean that another, like Krishna is another name of Lord Vishnu, and not Lord Vishnu is another name of Krishna.
Exactly, precisely. The avatari is Krishna. The source is Krishna. So Krishna should come later. Yeah. Everyone is emanating from Krishna. Very good. You want to read as well, Supreet? You may continue.
No, Prabhuji, not now.
Okay, okay, it's okay. So, therefore, another name of Lord Vishnu or Krishna is Mukunda. He who can award liberation. Mukunda is the name for someone who awards liberation. Yeah. King Muchukunda had not slept for many, many years. He was engaged in the duty of fighting and therefore he was very tired. So, when the demigods offered a benediction, Muchukunda simply thought of sleeping. He replied as follows: My dear Kartikeya, best of the demigods, I want to sleep now. I want from you the following benediction: grant me the power to burn to ashes by my mere glance anyone who disturbs my sleep and awakens me untimely. Please give me this benediction. The demigod agreed and also gave him the benediction that he would be able to take complete rest. Then King Muchukunda entered into the cave of the mountain. On the strength of benediction of Kartikeya, Muchukunda burned Kalayavana to ashes simply by glancing at him. When the incident was over, Krishna came before the king Muchukunda. Krishna had actually entered the cave to deliver King Muchukunda because of his austerity, but Krishna did not appear before him first. He arranged that first Kalayavana should come before him. That is the way of activities of Supreme Personality of Godhead. He does one thing in such a way that many purposes are served. We can use this for Aryobit. Krishna does one thing. Krishna does one thing in such a way that many purposes are served. He wanted to deliver King Muchukunda, who was sleeping in the cave, and at the same time, he wanted to kill Kalayavana, who had attacked Mathura city. By this action, he served all the purposes. So Kalayavana was killed, right? Mathura was freed. Yeah. And Muchukunda's benediction came to use. Yeah. When Lord Krishna appeared before Muchukunda, the king saw him dressed in a yellow garment. His chest marked with the symbols of Srivasta and Kaustuba jewels hanging around his neck. King Krishna appeared before him with four-handed Vishnu Murti with garland called Vajanti, hanging from his neck down to his knees. He looked lustrous. His face was beautifully smiling and he wore nice jeweled earrings on his ears. Krishna appeared more beautiful than a human can conceive. Not only did he appear in this feature, but he glanced over Muchukunda with great affection, attracting the king's mind. Although he was the Supreme Personality of Godhead, the oldest of all, he looked like fresh young boy, and his movements were just like those of a free deer. Still, he appeared powerful, extremely powerful. His influence was vast, powerful, and so great that even human beings should be afraid of him. Yeah. Hare Krishna. Rashi Mataji.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna.
When King Muchukunda saw Krishna's magnificent features, he wondered about his identity, and with great humility, he asked the Lord, "My dear Lord, may I inquire how it is that you happen to be in the cave of this mountain? Who are you? I can see that your feet are just like soft lotus flowers. How could you walk in the forest full of thorns and pebbles? I am simply surprised to see this. Are you not therefore the Supreme Personality of Godhead, the most powerful among the the most powerful amongst the powerful. Are you not the original source of all illumination and fire? Can I consider you or consider you one of the great demigods like the sun god, the moon god, or Indra, king of heaven? Or are you the predominating deity of some other planet? Muchukunda knew well that every higher planetary system has a predominating deity. He was not ignorant like modern men who think that this planet Earth is full of living entities and all others are vacant. The inquiry from Muchukunda about Krishna being the predominating deity of a planet unknown to him is quite appropriate because he was a pure devotee of the Lord Krishna, Lord King, pure devotee of Lord. King Muchukunda could immediately understand that Lord Krishna, who had
Hare Krishna.
appeared
Yeah.
him in such a opulent.
Let me continue from here. Because he was a pure devotee of Lord, King Muchukunda could immediately understand that Lord Krishna, who has appeared before him in such an opulent feature, could not be one of the predominating deities of the material planet. He must be the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Krishna, who has many forms. Look, when we see Krishna, first we would see the powers. Krishna showed the impersonal, I mean, not so personal Krishna form. He showed the Vishnu form, right? Four-handed Vishnu form. Now he would see, look how Muchukunda would see. Muchukunda would see that Krishna has power. Krishna is powerful. Yes, that is true. And therefore he would try to connect that power. Who would hold that power? So first he was thinking some demigod of some other planet, and thereafter he understood that no, not demigod. He must be God himself. Yeah. So yeah, he must be the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Krishna, who has many Vishnu forms. Muchukunda therefore took him as the Purushottam Lord Vishnu. He could see that the dense darkness within the mountain cave has been dissipated by the Lord's presence. Therefore, he could not be any other person, any other other than the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Muchukunda knew very well that wherever the Lord is personally present by his transcendental name, qualities, form, and so on, there cannot be any darkness of ignorance. He is like a lamp placed in the darkness. He immediately illuminates the dark place. King Muchukunda was eager to know the identity of Lord Krishna. And therefore he said, "O best of human beings, if you think that if I am fit to know your identity, kindly tell me who you are. What is your parentage? What is your occupational duty? And what is your family tradition?" King Muchukunda thought it wise, however, to identify himself to the Lord first. Otherwise, he had no right to ask the Lord's identity. Etiquette is such that a person of less importance cannot ask the person the identity of a person of higher importance without first disclosing his own identity. King Muchukunda therefore told Lord Krishna, "My dear Lord, let me first inform you of my identity. I belong to most celebrated dynasty of King Ikshvaku. But personally, I'm not as great as my forefather. My name is Muchukunda. My father's name was Madhanta, and my grandfather was the great Yuva Yuvanasa, Yuvanasva. I was very much fatigued due to not resting for so many thousands of years, and because of this, my bodily limbs were slack and almost incapable of acting. To revive my energy, I was taking rest in the solitary cave, but I have been awakened by some unknown man who has forced me to wake up, although I was not willing to do so. For an offensive act, I have burned this person to ashes simply by glancing over him. Fortunately, now I can see you in this grand and beautiful feature. I think, therefore, that you are the cause of my killing. You are the cause of my killing my enemy. Right? Uh, Krishna is the reason of everything, and Muchukunda understands. Yeah, Krishna must be the reason why this person has been killed. I killed that person. My glance killed it, but Krishna is the reason. Every devotee must understand this fact that we should not think ourselves to be doer. Krishna is the ultimate doer, and we should accept only Krishna as a doer. Yeah. Okay. My dear Lord, I must admit that due to your bodily effulgence unbearable to my eyes, I cannot see you properly. I can fully realize that the influence of your effulgence has diminished my power. I can understand that you are quite fit for being worshipped by all the living entities. Seeing King Muchukunda eager to know about his identity, Lord Krishna answered smilingly as follows. My dear king, it is practically impossible to tell about my birth, appearance, disappearance, and activities. Perhaps you know that my incarnation, Ananta Deva, has unlimited mouths, and for an unlimited time, he has been trying to narrate fully about my name, fame, quality, activities, appearance, disappearance, and incarnations. But still, he has not been able to finish. Therefore, it is not possible to know exactly how many names and forms I possess. It may be possible for a material scientist to estimate the number of atomic particles which make up the earthly planet, but the scientist cannot uh, enumerate my unlimited names, forms, and activities. Many great sages and saintly persons have tried to list my different forms and activities, yet they have failed to make a complete list. But since you are so eager to know about me, I may inform you that I have now appeared on this planet just to annihilate the mystery, just to annihilate the demoniac principles of the people in general, and reestablish the religious principles enjoyed in the Vedas. I have been invited for this purpose by Brahma, the superintending deity of this universe, and thus I have now appeared in the dynasty of Yadus as one of their family members. I have specifically taken my birth as the son of Vasudev in the Yadu dynasty, and people therefore know me as Vasudev, the son of Vasudev. You may also know that I have killed Kamsa, who in the previous life was known as Kalinemi, uh, uh, as well as Pralambasura and many other demons. They have acted as my enemies, and I have killed them. The demon who was present before you also acted as my enemy, and you have very kindly. Krishna is glorifying devotee. You have very kindly burned him to ashes by glancing over him. Did Muchukunda do anything consciously? No, no. But Krishna always glorified his devotees. Whoever is a devotee of Krishna, Krishna would take special care to glorify. Just a minute, something wrong. Yeah. Okay. Uh, Network issue. Yeah. Just a minute. It would snap for a second and it would come back. Yeah. Krishna always glorify the devotees. Krishna takes a special pleasure in glorifying devotees. Is a devotee so special? Generally speaking, no. No. So why would Krishna glorify? Because Krishna takes it personally, right? So yeah. Okay. Yeah. And Krishna would be telling that he is a devotee. Yeah. They have acted as my enemy, and I have killed them. The demon who was present before you and also acted as my enemy, and you have acted very kindly. You have very kindly burned him to ashes by glancing over him. My dear King Muchkunda, you are my great devotee, and just to show you my causeless mercy, I have appeared in this cave. I'm very affectionately inclined towards my devotees, and in your previous life, mm, before your present condition, you acted as my great devotee and prayed for my causeless mercy. Uh, I therefore come to see you to fulfill your desire. Now you can see me to your heart's content, my dear king. Now you may ask from me any benediction you wish, and I am prepared to fulfill your desire. It is my eternal principle that anyone who comes under my shelter must have all the desires fulfilled by my grace. Krishna fulfills the desire of all his devotees. Whoever comes to his shelter, Krishna fulfills the desire, and he is freed. That person gets freed from all the entanglement. But we have to take shelter of Krishna. We have to surrender onto Krishna. We have to accept Krishna as the Supreme Personality. We have to understand that whatever Krishna says is final. Else, we would not be accepting Krishna as shelter. Else, we would not be uh, uh, connecting with Krishna on that level. Okay, continuing from here. Whoever wants to read, may raise their hand. Else, I am continuing. When Lord Krishna ordered King Muchukunda to ask a benediction from him, the king was joyful, and he immediately remembered the prediction of Gargamuni, who had foretold long before that in the 28th millennium of the Vavasta Manu, Lord Krishna would appear on this planet. As soon as he remembered the prediction, he understood that the Supreme Personality Narayana was present before him as Lord Krishna. He immediately fell down at his lotus feet and began to pray as follows. Prayers of Muchukunda. This is very, very important. Yeah. Now, somebody was asking in the Bhagavatam class yesterday itself, how can we understand Krishna? How would we understand Krishna? This is how we understand Krishna. From the mouth of pure devotee. Whoever is a pure devotee, he would glorify Krishna in such a way that we would be able to understand. Now, Krishna was telling about himself. No. We would not be understanding a lot from what Krishna says. See the heart of a devotee. We would not be understanding a lot from what Krishna says, but we would be understanding more from what a pure devotee would say, right? Because Krishna would go to that ecstasy level wherein he would be Vedvyasa, but he would not be enlisting each and every quality that he has. But when requested by Narada Muni, he would tell each and everything. So a devotee would be able to tell each and everything about Krishna, or Krishna would be telling about himself when a devotee asks. When a devotee asks, then he would be telling. Yeah. Else Krishna would not be telling. Suppose we have a lot of it. In every of our act, suppose I would sit in a way that a rich person should sit. I would wear dress in a way that a rich person wears dress. I would wear sunglasses in a way that a rich person would do. I would buy a car how a rich person would appear. Isn't it? Krishna would not do it. Krishna has every opulence. Krishna would not show it unless asked by even not asked, unless requested by a devotee. He would not be revealing himself. Arjuna asked him, so therefore Bhagavad Gita was spoken. Now Muchukunda is asking, therefore Krishna told. And again, glorification by a devotee would always be better. Glorification of God by a devotee would always be better than what Krishna says about himself. Yeah. Krishna would say about himself only in ecstasy form when a devotee surrenders onto him. and request Krishna to tell about himself. Else Krishna would not be telling. So therefore, I was remembering when that question was asked yesterday. I was remembering how Brahma glorified Krishna, how Indra glorified Krishna, how Shiva glorified Krishna, and now how Muchukunda is glorifying. Now we saw how this one Akrura glorified Krishna. All this in Krishna book itself. Yeah. From the hearts of your devotees, we can understand how Krishna is. Else, it would be very, very difficult for us to understand. Now, Muchukunda is saying, focus. My dear Lord, O Supreme Personality of Godhead, I can understand that all living entities on this planet are illusioned by your external energy and enmarred of the illusionary satisfaction of sense gratification. Being fully engaged in illusionary activities, they are reluctant to worship your lotus feet, and because they are unaware of the benefits of surrendering unto your lotus feet, they are subjected to various miserable conditions of their material existence. They are foolishly attached to so-called societal friendship and love, which merely produce different kind of miseries illusioned by your external energy. Everyone, whether man or woman, is attached to the material existence, and all are engaged in cheating one another in a great society of cheaters and the cheated. These foolish people do not knowingly, these foolish people not knowingly how fortunate they are to have obtained this human form of life, are reluctant to worship your lotus feet. By the influence of your external energy, they are attacked to the glare of the material and activities, to so-called society, friendship, and love, like dumb animals that have fallen into the dark well. The example of a dark well is given because in the field there are many wells unused for years and covered over by grass, and poor animals, not knowing of them, fall into them, and unless rescued, they die. Being captivated by a few blades of grass, animal fall into dark well and meet death. Similarly, uh, foolish person without knowing the importance of the human life spoil it simply for sense gratification and die without any useful purpose. My dear Lord, I am not an exception to this universal law of material nature. I am foolish. I am a foolish person who has wasted his time for nothing, and my position is especially difficult. On account of my being situated in the royal order, I was more puffed up than ordinary persons. An ordinary man thinks he is the proprietor of his body or family, but I began to think that in a way on a larger scale. I wanted to be master of whole world, and I became puffed up with the ideas of sense gratification. My bodily concept of life became stronger and stronger. My attachment for home, wife, and children, for money and supremacy over the world became more and more acute. In fact, it was limitless. So I remained always attached to thoughts of my material living condition. Therefore, my dear Lord, I wasted so much of the valuable lifetime with no benefit. As my misconception of life intensified, I began to think of the material body, which is just a bag of flesh and bones. I never use this jargon to explain who we are, but actually this is completely correct. We are what? We are just flesh and bone. They are made out of flesh and bone. Our body is made out of flesh and bone. Yes. And there is one more jargon used: blood and stool. Right. So our body is made out of what? It is full of blood, and we pass stool. Right. Urine and stool, whatever. Same. Right. So what is our body? We get proud of our body. We get proud of our how we look, how we speak, how we appear, how we present ourselves. But who are we? Are we eternal? No, we are temporary. Are we really beautiful? No, Krishna is all beautiful. Look at Krishna and look at yourself. You would feel shame uh, in the fact that you glorify yourself, isn't it? Let's continue from here once again. Therefore, my dear Lord, I wasted so much of my valuable lifetime with no benefit. As my misconception of life intensified, I began to think of this material body, which is just a bag of flesh and bones, and in all, in my vanity, I believed that I had become the king of human society. In this misconception of bodily life, I traveled all over the world, accompanied by the military strength, soldiers, charioteers, elephants, and horses, assisted by many commanders, and puffed up by power. I could not trace your lordship, who always sit within my heart and as most intimate friend. So what we have done, we have forgotten Krishna, right? I did not care for you, and this was the fault of so-called exalted material condition. I think that, like me, all living creatures are careless about the spiritual realization and always full of anxieties and thinking, who is to be done? Sorry, what is to be done? What is next? But because we are strongly bound by material desires, we continue to remain in craziness. Yet, in simple Hare Krishna. Anyone who wants to read may raise their hand. Yeah. Uh, uh, Krishna is the source of all Vishnu. Correct. Uh, okay, continue. Yet, in spite of being so absorbed in material thought, inevitable time. Hare Krishna. Rashi Mataji, yes.
Hare Krishna. Yet, in spite of our being observed in material thought, inevitable time, which is only a form of yourself, is always careful about in its duty. And as soon as the allotted time is over, your lordship immediately ends all the activities of our material dreams. Prabhuji.
Krishna, I did not do it. Things are happening beyond my control today. Yeah, sorry. Are you able to spot?
As lordship immediately dreams, as the time factor, you end all our activities as a hungry black snake swiftly swallow up all small red without leniency, leniency,
Lenience.
leniency. Due to the action of cruel time, the royal body, which was always decorated with golden ornaments during
Ornaments.
ornaments during life, and which moved in chariot drawn by beautiful horses, or in the or or on the black or on the back of an elephant nicely decorated with golden ornaments, and which was advertised as the king of human society.
Hare
That
Krishna, Hare Krishna. Actually, Rashi Mataji's eyes pains a lot, and my eyes are paining quite a lot. So I can relate. Mataji is not able to read properly because of her eyes. Uh, uh, it's okay. It's okay, Mataji.
okay,
Let me
Prabhu.
continue. Let me continue. It's okay. Let me read it once
Okay,
again.
please, Prabhuji.
Yeah. Yet, in spite of our being so absorbed in material thought, inevitable time, in which is only a form of yourself, is always careful about its duty. And soon, as the allotted time is over, your lordship immediately ends all the activities of our material dreams. As a time factor, you end all our activities as a hungry black snake swiftly swallows up a small rat without leniency. Due to the action of cruel time, the royal body, which was always decorated with golden ornaments during life, uh, and which moved on chariot drawn by beautiful horses or on the back of elephant nicely decorated with golden ornament, and which was advertised as the king of human society. The same royal body decomposes under the influence of inevitable time and becomes fit for being eaten by worms and insects, or being turned into ashes or stool of an animal. This beautiful body may be recognized as the royal body, which, in the living condition, while in the living condition, as a royal body while in the living condition. So when the body is alive, it is royal, right? But when it dies, it rots, it decomposes, right? It smells. Yeah, does not it happen when someone lives, we just embraces him, right? We love him, but when he dies, we ask the same person to be buried. It is not a person, but as people call it, we ask the same person to get buried as soon as possible. Actually, we do not love any person. We love, and material love is not love. We get attracted to the living entity, which is soul, which is not body. We get attracted through body. So we get attracted to another soul only through this body, because we have bodily identification in this world. Yeah, in this material world, what identification do we have? Bodily identification. So the same body which was looking very beautiful is fit to be cremated or burnt, right? Yeah, so that is our situation. Yeah. So this beautiful body may be recognized as a royal body while being in the living condition, but after death, the body of even a king is eaten by the animal and therefore turned into stew, or is cremated in the crematorium and turned into ashes, or is put into the earthly grave, which where different kinds of worms and insects are produced of it. My dear Lord, we come under the full control of this inevitable time, not only after death, but also in different way while living. For example, I may be a powerful king, and yet when I come home after conquering the world, I become subjected to material conditions. When I come back victorious, all subordinate kings may come and offer their respects, but as soon as I enter the inner section of my palace, I myself become an instrument in the hands of queens. And for sense gratification, I have to fall down at the feet of a woman. The material world of life is so complicated that before taking the enjoyment of material life, one has to work so hard that there is scarcely an opportunity for peacefully enjoying. And to attain all material facilities, one has to undergo severe austerities and penances and be elevated to the heavenly planets. If one gets the opportunity of taking birth in a very rich or a royal family, even then he is always anxious to maintain the status quo and prepared for the next life by performing various sacrifices and distributing charity. Even in royal life, one is full of anxieties, not only because of his political administration, but also in regard of being elevated to the heavenly planet. It is therefore very difficult to get out of the material entanglement. But uh, if one is somehow or other favored by you, by your mercy alone, he is given the opportunity to associate with a pure devotee. That is the beginning of liberation from the entanglement of this material world, of material conditioned life. My dear Lord, only by association of pure devotees one is able to approach your lordship, who are the control, who are the controller of both the material and the spiritual existence. You are the supreme goal of all pure devotees, and by your association with pure devotee, one can develop this dormant love for you. Therefore, development of Krishna consciousness in the association of pure devotee is the cause of liberation from this material entanglement. My dear Lord, you are so merciful that in spite of being reluctant to associate with your pure devotees, you have shown your extreme mercy upon me as a result of a slight contact with such a pure devotee as slight contact with such a pure devotee as Dargam. Please try and understand. We have been requesting that please join classes. Please come. Please be in association with devotees. Actually, we are not saying. It has been said by pure devotees themselves. And pure devotees are glorifying Krishna as this. So this is absolute truth. Only by association of pure devotees you can think of getting yourself elevated. It is not possible for any one of us to get elevated without association of a pure devotee. If you do not know any pure devotee, if I do not know any pure devotee, how can we elevate? There's no possibility as such. Yeah. So if you want to get elevated, you need to take shelter, or rather association of pure devotee. Shelter of Guru, association of pure devotee. Yeah. Okay, my dear Lord, you are so merciful that in spite of being reluctant to associate with your pure devotees, you have shown your extreme mercy upon me as a result of the slight contact with such as a result of my slight contact with such a pure devotee as Gargamuni. By your causeless mercy, you only have I lost my material opulence, my kingdom, my family. I do not think so. This one, Muchukunda, has lost everything and he's very, very happy. Can we be happy if we lose everything? Actually, this is the consciousness, this is the state we are in. He is very much determined about Krishna. Once a devotee is very much determined about Krishna, he is not bothered about material things. Even if everything is taken away, everything is taken away. Yeah, he would be concerned only about Krishna. Yeah. I do not. Yeah, I do not think I could have got rid of all this entanglement. Look, this Muchukunda is glorifying Krishna. I could not gotten rid of these entanglement without your causeless mercy. Kings and emperors sometimes accept the life of an ascetic to forget their royal life, but your special causeless mercy, by your special causeless mercy, I have already been bearer of royalty. I do not need to become mendicant or practice renunciation. My dear Lord, I therefore pray that I may simply be engaged in the transcendental loving service unto your lotus feet. This is the ambition of pure devotees who are free from all material contamination. You are the Supreme Personality of Godhead, and you can offer me anything I want, including liberation. But who is such a fool? Again, I'm repeating. But who is such a fool that after pleasing you, he would ask from you something which might cause entanglement in this material world? I do not think any sane person would ask such a benediction from you. I therefore surrender unto you, because you are the Supreme Personality of Godhead. You are the super soul living in everyone's heart. You are the impersonal Brahman. You are the impersonal Brahman effulgence. Moreover, you are also this material world, because this material world is only the manifestation of your external energy. Therefore, from any angle of vision, you are the supreme shelter of for everyone, whether on this material plane or in the spiritual plane. Everyone must take shelter under your lotus feet. I therefore submit unto you, my Lord. Actually, here we get the knowledge why when we chant Hare Krishna Mahamantra, our material problems gets solved. When we chant Hare Krishna Mahamantra, why our material problems get solved? Because Krishna is also the reason for this material world. What would lead this material world? Only Krishna. Yes, Krishna is leading this material world through his external energy, which is Maya, but who is leading? Again, Krishna. Therefore, when we chant, we get happiness even in this material world. We get freed from our stress, anxiety, depression, suffering. Yes, continue. For many, many births, I have been suffering from the threefold miseries of this material existence, and I'm now tired of it. I have been impelled by my own senses, and I have never satisfied. I therefore take shelter on your lotus feet, which are the source of all peaceful life, and which can eradicate all lamentation caused by material contamination. My dear Lord, you are the super soul of everyone, and you can understand everything. Now I am free from all contamination of material desire. I do not wish to enjoy this material world, nor do I wish to take advantage of merging into your spiritual effulgence. Nor do I wish to meditate upon your localized person aspect of Paramatma. For I know that simply by taking shelter of you, I shall become completely perfect and undisturbed. On hearing this statement by King Muchukunda, Lord Krishna replied, "My dear King, I'm very much pleased with your statement. You have been the king of all the lands of this planet, but I'm surprised to find that your mind is now freed from material contamination. You are now fit to execute devotional service. I am pleased to see, although I have offered you the opportunity to ask me any kind of benediction, you did not take advantage of asking for material benefits. I can understand that your mind is now fixed onto me and is not disturbed by any material quality. The material qualities are three, namely goodness, passion, and ignorance. When one is placed into the mixed material qualities of passion and ignorance, various kind of greed and lusty desires impel them and try to find comfort in this material world. When situated in this material quality of goodness, one tries to purify himself by performing various penances and austerities. When one reaches the platform of Brahman, a real Brahmana, he aspires highest level, right? He aspires, no, not highest level. This is Satoguna, mode of goodness, right? He aspires to merge into the existence of the Lord. But when one desires only to render service unto the lotus feet of the Lord, now this is highest. This is spiritual work. But when one desires to only to render service unto the lotus feet of the Lord, he is transcendental to all these three qualities. The pure conscious person is therefore always free from all the three material qualities. Mhm. My dear King, Lord Krishna continued. Just a minute. Should we continue or should we end? Hare Krishna. Just a minute. Let me see the time. We can continue for 2, 3, 4. But again, I do not want to stop here. We would end this. Yeah, whatever may happen. Please be patient. Today is Ekadashi. Please be patient. Let me extend this class for 10 minutes, maybe. Yeah, 10 minutes. My dear King, Lord Krishna continued, I therefore give you a special benediction that you will always think of me. Thus, you will be able to traverse this material world freely without being contaminated by the material qualities. This statement by the Lord confirms that a person in true Krishna consciousness, engaged in the transcendental loving service of the Lord under the direction of the spiritual master, is never subjected to any contamination of material qualities. I'm reading it once again. My dear Lord, Lord Krishna continued, I therefore give you special benediction that you will always think of me. Thus, you will be able to traverse this material world freely without being contaminated by the material qualities. This statement of the Lord confirms that the person in true Krishna consciousness, engaged in the transcendental loving service of the Lord under the direction of this spiritual master, is never subject to the contamination of the material qualities. My dear king, the Lord said, because you are a Kshatriya, you have committed the offense of slaughtering animals, both in hunting and in political engagement. To become purified, just engage yourself in the practice of Bhakti Yoga and always keep your mind absorbed in me. Very soon you will be able to you will be freed from all the reactions of such sordid activities. In this statement, it appears that although Kshatriya are allowed to kill animals in hunting, they are not freed from the resulting contamination of sinful reaction. Therefore, when one is a Kshatriya, Vaishya, or Brahmana, whether one is a Kshatriya, Vaishya, or Brahmana, one is recommended to take sannyasa and at the end of the life to engage himself completely in the service of Lord and thus become freed from all the sinful reactions of his previous past life. The Lord then assured Muchukunda, in your next life, you will take birth as first class Vaishnava, the best of Brahmanas, and in that life, your only business will be to engage yourself in my transcendental service. A Vaishnava is a first class Brahmana because one who is not acquired the qualification of a bona fide Brahmana cannot come to the platform of Vaishnava. When one become a Vaishnava, he is completely engaged in the welfare activities for all living entities. The highest welfare activities for living entities is the preaching of Krishna consciousness. It is stated herein that those who are specifically favored by the Lord can become absolutely Krishna conscious and be engaged in the work of preaching the Vaishnava philosophy. Thus ends the Bhaktivedanta purport for the 51st chapter, Krishna, the deliverance of Muchukunda. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, everyone. Thank you for continuing. I think we have just ended within time. Yeah, very good. I told that we would extend by 10 minutes. We just ended within time. Yeah. If we have any questions, then you may ask. Look, I told you by glorification from a pure devotee, we can understand Krishna. And I'm pretty much sure every one of you who have heard this pastime wherein Muchukunda glorified Krishna and Krishna replied, we would have developed intense love for Krishna, right? Everyone kar dijiye. Okay, let me make chat to everyone. And yes, if you have any question, you may ask. Yeah. Do we have any question? No. Actually, I wanted to do something special at 3 p.m. but situation is such that I'm not able to do. I feel really bad. Uh, 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 yeah. Okay. I don't know why people neglect reading. Even I don't know. I don't know. I could not understand why people are not joining the session, why people are not reading. I mean, if no one reads, I'm there. I would read. Look, my eyes are not proper, so I would take a lot of time to read. Uh, uh, what to do? I cannot help it. Yeah. And after a few minutes, it will start paining quite badly. So yeah, I can understand. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna. Okay. Okay. It's okay. It's okay. It's okay. It's okay. Krishna has some plans. Don't worry. Whatever Krishna does, it's for our good. We should fully trust Krishna's plan. Whatever has happened happens for our good. So we could get delivered by surrendering on to Krishna and and preaching the knowledge of Krishna. Every one of us should be engaged in preaching about Krishna. Actually, we want to start reading classes, but I get feared by such an experience where I have to read everything. The moderator or the volunteer may have to read the entire text if we are conducting reading classes. Yeah, it might happen such. So it's okay. It's okay. Let's see where it goes. I would try my most. Whatever I can do, I will do. Today is Ekadashi. Please chant more rounds and join more classes. Hear more about Krishna. Thank you everyone for joining. Hare Krishna. Yeah, Vaishnav Pranamantra. Before we end Vaishnav Pranamantra. Yeah. Okay. Anyone for Vaishnav Pranamantra, or should I do it? Okay. Let me share the screen and I will do it. Yeah. Rashi Mataji, you want to do? Yeah. Yeah.
Vanchakalpatarubhyascha Sindhubha eva cha Patitanam pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo namo namaha.
अनंत कोटि वैष्णव वृंद की जय। शिवेंद्र शिला प्रपात की जय। भगवत गीता की जय। श्रीमद् भागवतम की जय। कृष्णा बुक की जय। सभी भक्तों की
जय।
हरे कृष्णा हरे कृष्णा हरे 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 रामा राम राम हरे हरे। हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे। हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे कृष्णा एवरीवन। हरे कृष्णा। Thank you everyone for joining. Let's connect next week. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna.